So last season, I stated that I would be attempting to get master rank in PvP. Well, that did not happen, obviously. So for this season, I am actually going to make an effort to hit master rank or at least somewhere close. And of course, I'm already a couple of months behind, so we're going to jump into some PvP battles and hopefully we'll get some good rankings. Alright, what's happening y'all? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So PvP has been the bane of my Pokemon Go existence. I have always struggled to do really well in PvP. It's the one area of the game where I'm just simply not good at. Whether it be because I just simply do not have the right Pokemon to get ahead, or it's because I just do not necessarily have the right strategies and techniques for succeeding in PvP. It's always been a struggle, but I've always been trying hard to get to higher ranks. Of course, I've, had some really good seasons where I would get pretty close, but I've also had really bad seasons. And ultimately what it comes down to is that I just don't want to exert the effort. I don't want to invest in different Pokemon that I'm never going to use for raid battles, and, I just feel like PvP was never really meant for me. But besides the point, I feel like it's the one area of the game that I do need to improve on, so I'm gonna go for it. I'm going to try to get as high rank as possible, and we're gonna start things off with the Master League. So I am currently at rank 1, as you can see right here. I've only done 3 battles, and that was really just 3 leftover battles from the last season. I ended last season with 2 battles completed, and it was just bothering me, so I just jumped into 3 battles and I just left them. I just did not care to win them at all, but now we're gonna see how far we can go. Now, this team right here, it's not really a well-constructed team by any means. Of course, one thing I could do is actually put in a Xerneas, because Xerneas seems to pair well with Zacian's Crown form, and then I have a Black Hyrum, because Black Hyrum is one of the newest Pokemon. It's one of the strongest in my collection, and I just think it's a really cool Pokemon. So we're gonna jump in with this team. I know some of the best Master League teams right now include Pokemon like Origin Form Palkia, Origin Form Dialga, Meloetta is a Pokemon that a lot of players are talking about, but I don't necessarily have those ready to go. But considering this is the early ranks, of course, we're gonna go up against some throwaway opponents. So I'm predicting that we're going to get quite a few wins just with little effort. Yeah, you can see here, very, very easy wins. Very typical of a rank 1 player that's about a month late. Yeah, but ultimately, I just want to get as far as I can and stop neglecting PvP battles. I think that's the one thing on my YouTube channel that's been missing. I think a lot of players have always stated that I should make more PvP content, but of course, I feel like in order to make more PvP content, I need to get more familiar with the game mode. There were times where I would do so many PvP battles just because it was the one area of the game where I felt like I was not really doing much. But considering that this season, I actually want to hit Master Rank, maybe I'll make more PvP content. And I totally recognize that this is something that I've already said. In previous seasons, I've talked about how I need to make more PvP content. I need to create a lot more stuff around PvP teams and actually put an effort into PvP. And I would just neglect to do so. Maybe this season will be different. I really do not know. It's going to depend entirely on how much I grind. If I can get all 25 of my daily battles done, whether I win or lose, then that will definitely produce a lot more skills. It will produce a lot more, knowledge on PvP, and then I can create some really great content around that. But these battles right now are not producing a lot of knowledge because I'm essentially getting free wins, and that's okay. Free wins are always fun. You get a free rare candy, you get some free Stardust, but ultimately what I would like to do is actually improve. Alright, so here we go. This is already a bit of a difficult battle because this Pokemon is not a throwaway opponent. So we're actually going to use some charge attacks. We're probably going to shield this because Behemoth Blade is a heavy hitter. And let's jump into Kyurem. I almost said Kyogre. Kyogre is definitely not this Pokemon. I am not worried about shielding just yet because Black Kyurem is one of those Pokemon that is just really strong at resisting attacks. And we're going to Fusion Bolt here. Let's see if we could get that second shield down. Ultimately, what we want to do is get rid of both shields or knock it out. But it's not going to get knocked out, which is okay, because it's going to be right here. Sweet. So this is actually pretty easy. And of course, Black Kyurem, boom, super effective damage. What's the next one going to be? Another water type. This time it's Kyogre. And that's great news for us. Alright, so this battle was a little bit more challenging, but it's going to be easy for us just because of this one Pokemon. Wow, Black Kyurem is actually really strong. The amount of energy generation and Fusion Bolt being such a hard hitter? Wow, okay, so I need to get this bad boy to 100% IVs. Maybe this is going to be the worthy candidate for a golden bottle cap with hyper training. I do not know, because that was very easy. Alright, let's keep going. We want to get more wins down. Yeah, so PvP, that's one thing I would definitely like to improve on. I think when it comes to PvP content, it's just an endless stream of content. And there's definitely a niche audience for PvP, right? I know some of you are watching my videos, love PvP. There's some people who just simply do not care about it, like me. I primarily care about collecting Pokemon. I primarily care about raid battles and PvE content. And there's certainly a lot of people out there who have a good mix. They care about both PvP and PvE, but I tend to lean more on the PvE side. I totally understand that. Yeah, but maybe I could get better at PvP. Maybe I could, I don't know, hit Master Rank this season and then move on my way up to becoming a PvP YouTuber, content creator. Who knows? But this is, I guess, the first steps. The third time I'm taking the first steps. Really, I have to call myself out. I totally recognize that in the past, I've made so many attempts to become a PvP YouTuber for Pokemon Go. It just doesn't happen. I don't know what it is. It's really because PvP as a game mode, it can get so incredibly grindy. It can get so cumbersome. Like, as a Pokemon Go player, I want to have a more streamlined experience. I want to be able to just, I don't know, whenever I open the game, I can just enjoy myself, have a nice casual or even a hardcore grinding experience. But when it comes to PvP, it just seems like it's so incredibly grindy. It seems like it's so tedious. There has to be a better way. And the gameplay itself, it's so luck-based that, you know, some people will say there is an algorithm. I don't necessarily buy into that. I think ultimately what it comes down to is just sheer luck. You know, you can have long streaks of just having the right counters. You can have long streaks of just being countered hard. I think that's just the nature of a rock, paper, scissors kind of game. If you play rock, papers, and scissors with another player, your win rate is going to be close to 50%. That's naturally how it goes, unless you're someone who just does nothing but rock the entire time. And then, of course, your opponent will catch on to that and they'll just do paper every single time. But let's say you're just doing random rock, paper, scissors. Your win rate is going to be around 50%. That's generally how statistics work. And I feel like it's the same when it comes to Pokemon Go's PvP. Of course, in the early days of PvP, people didn't know what Pokemon to use. People were still trying to figure things out. But overall, I will say that your win rate is going to be around 50%. You're naturally going to come across a lot of players who are going to hard counter your team. And you're going to naturally come across players who are just better equipped to deal with certain things, certain situations. Maybe they're going to have certain Pokemon that you don't have, and that's why they're going to succeed and have an advantage. But overall, there's no algorithm. If you're on a big win streak, you can maintain that win streak. It's not like the game is going to purposefully try to punish you for using certain teams. It's just naturally how these sort of things go. But ultimately, I will say some people are just going to die on that hill, that they ultimately believe there is some sort of algorithm. That's totally fine if you have that opinion. I totally get it. If you're on a huge lose streak and you feel like it's the game that's the problem and not yourself, that's really on you. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's always been my experience. Even myself, who's never really had a lot of solid experience with PvP, I find that my win rate is always a little bit more than 50%. And I don't think there's ever an algorithm that affects that. There's some people who are going to have way more than 50% of a win rate, and sometimes that just comes down to the Pokemon they have in their collection, or it just comes down to them constantly switching up their teams. You see a lot of Pokemon Go YouTubers using multiple different teams, and that's primarily why. They diversify their Pokemon, and that's how they maintain a much higher win rate. But yeah, in any case, I just feel like, ultimately for myself, having that kind of effort, it's really difficult. I tend to be the kind of player who just wants to pick one team and then just grind it out with that one team. But I know that when it comes to trying to hit master rank in PvP, that's just simply not going to work. For some players it might, but based on my own experiences, I just don't think that's totally feasible. But, you know, who knows? Ultimately, what I need to do is just get more Pokemon and get more 100% IV Pokemon. I mean, even for myself, like you can see right here, I'm using 3 super powerful Pokemon, Xerneas, Zacian, and Black Kyurem, but I need to have other Pokemon like Origin Form Palkia, for example. That's a very powerful Pokemon, and I know a lot of people, oh my gosh, I'm actually about to die, but that's okay. I'm going to take this out, or at least get both of their shields out, and then we're gonna use these Pokemon. Okay. Well, anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, I just feel like ultimately I need more Pokemon in my collection. Origin Form Palkia is probably the #1 thing if I want to get better in the Master League. I need to get my Zygarde to 100% IVs if I want to use that. There's just a lot of things I gotta do. There's just a long wish list of stuff that needs to get done. And oh boy, Melmetal, this is actually not looking good. I might end up losing this one. This is actually not looking good at all. It's probably gonna do Stone Edge and knock it out. Oh, Thunderbolt, okay. That's semi-good news. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, more Pokemon, especially when it comes to the Great League and Ultra League. I have very little Ultra League viable teams that I could go with. Anytime the Ultra League is the one that's available, I tend to just ignore PvP altogether unless one of the specialty cups that's going alongside the Ultra League is actually doable. And then when it comes to the Great League, it really just depends on how the meta shakes up. There are some times where I have every single one of the best Pokemon in the meta. There are other times where I have none of the Pokemon that are in the top 10 in the meta. I think this is one of those seasons. I have a fairly decent... Quagsire, but aside from that, I don't really have a lot that I could use. So yeah, I mean, it's a really tough thing. And the thing that I really hate about PvP is that it could take you an entire season to actually get a really solid Pokemon to use. Oh, I actually made a mistake there. For example, the season when, Carbink was like the most solid Pokemon. That was really hard to muster because because it took me an entire season, the entire season of when Carbink was meta, to actually have a Carbink that was ready for the Go Battle League. Sure enough, when the next season came along, Carbink was no longer meta. That seems to happen quite a lot when it comes to PvP, that I'll be setting up a team, I'm ready to go, and by the time that team is viable, it's no longer relevant. I really do not like that. I really wish Niantic would not be so harsh with changing up the meta. I mean, a really good example is with TCG Pocket. I don't know if you ever played that game, but ever since they released Ranked, there are certain decks that are always going to be pretty solid. They're going to be pretty consistent, but every single season, there's going to be new decks that are going to come along. And It's just that matter of consistency. There's going to be some decks that are still going to be good, but there's going to be other decks that are going to be new and fresh. I think that's the right way to go, because I feel like what they do is that they go overboard with the nerfs. I know certain Pokemon can be pretty solid, and instead of making... hold on here. Instead of making positive changes to other Pokemon, they just do hard nerfs on the current Pokemon and then bring in new Pokemon. It ends up being a hot mess. And for someone like me who likes to invest in certain Pokemon, it gets very frustrating because a lot of those Pokemon that I suddenly invest into, they're suddenly not good enough. And I just do not like that. I totally do not even get it. So yeah, that's just my little rant on how Niantic has been handling PvP. Obviously, things can certainly change in once Scopely takes over. I mean, they have taken over officially. But yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see how the future of Pokemon GO's PvP scene is going to fold out or pan out. But for now, I will say I'm going to make an effort. This is a lot of battling. These battles are basically the first PvP battles that I've done in like months. That should tell you something. Yeah, ultimately, I feel like if I really put an effort into it, I could do really well. So yeah, with all these ranting aside, let's actually get back into this. I've just been mindlessly doing this, I realize. Yeah, these are not that difficult battles. I realized it just comes down to these Pokemon that I'm using. And the fact that I'm in the lower ranks, so the teams that I'm going up against, they're not necessarily the best. I'm pretty sure that in the higher ranks, I would be struggling quite a lot right now. Of course, this team that I just went up against, 2 Dragon types as well as Tyranitar, super easy to deal with my team. Xerneas took out pretty much 2 of those Pokemon, and then of course I had Zacian to take out the final Pokemon, which was Tyranitar. Very good. But let's see how this matchup will go, because I'm on a bit of a win streak right now. I think oh my god, this would be my 10-win streak. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get something really difficult now. And let's just see how this goes. Obviously, they have an IV advantage if they were to go with the exact same team. Xerneas and Black Kyurem are not at 100%, so yeah, let's see what ends up happening in this battle right here. And it's lagging, of course. There's always technical issues with battles. That's another thing with PvP. The other thing I do not like is the fact that it can get so buggy, it can get so broken. This has been stuff that players have been complaining about for so long, like ages. I mean, look what just happened. I got 2 more battles to do in this set, and I'm being... Oh, actually, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh boy. Will I escape? Yep, okay. So, I just feel like they need to polish up PvP. I feel like having all these long-standing issues is always a problem. If they have to gut the whole system and then just rebuild it from scratch, I'm all for that. Just because, yeah, battling is so, like, it just adds to the tedious nature of battling. I feel like a lot of players just do not enjoy battling because of all the bugs and glitches and lag issues. And like right now, I'm playing on a Samsung Galaxy S24. It's a top-of-the-line phone. It's one of the best Android phones you can get. And for the most part, I do have a pretty decent PvP experience right now. It's pretty smooth, but occasionally I will have hitches. Occasionally I will have latency issues. I can certainly feel it as I'm playing right now. Yeah, these are things they need to fix. These are things that shouldn't be a part of the game. All right, they quit. Yeah, so yeah, that's just my one big suggestion for Scopely. Once they take control of all these design decisions, maybe that's something that they could do. That they could take PvP, take a season off, and they just gut the system, rebuild it from scratch, make it into something that actually works. Because I think the current groundwork of PvP is just incredibly buggy. It's not favorable to people with low-end phones. It's incredibly broken to, I don't know, it just, sometimes the experience is just not fun. It's just not pleasant. All right, final battle, and we'll call it. So, Salamence versus Crown Form Zacian. Of course, they immediately switch, and they're going to go switch to a Rhyperior, which is really hard to deal with, but we do have close combat, which means it's going to play out a little bit similar to that one battle where we had Rhyperior as the opener, but we're going to see if we could at least get out both shields. Oh boy, we gotta make a decision here. I'm gonna try to at least knock out both shields. So this one is already a little bit difficult. All right, they did Earthquake, which is a very heavy move. We're doing close combat because it's a low energy, but of course it's a high risk, high reward move. Okay, they did not shield it. Great. So that takes care of that. And then we got, White Kyurem. I'm assuming, okay, I could go with either of these, but I'm gonna go with Black Kyurem simply because I feel like Free Shock and Fusion Bolt are going to be much bigger threats. I'm gonna use a shield just because, maybe that wasn't necessary. Yeah, Fusion Flare is a pretty hard hitter. But what I need to do is, okay, that was kind of expected. Now I'm a little bit worried because Xerneas is not a favorable matchup to White Kyurem, but this is a favorable matchup. So I'm going to build up some energy first and foremost because I'm worried about... I think I got this. This should be no problem. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm worried, to be honest with you. But fire attacks are pretty strong against Fairy. But yeah, we got this. And it's over. Sweet. So there you go, Master League. Very easy battles because I'm in the lower ranks. But I'm going to be trying to try to push for Master Rank. I don't know if I'll get there. It certainly is going to be a journey. I will try to upload at least one PvP video every week. A little bit more if I start to get better at it, but yeah, for now, this is really it's really how things are going. PvP is PvP. Ultimately, that's the best way I can put it. So yeah, there you go. What is that, 5 battles done? 5 Master Rank battles done? Easy peasy. Yep, there you go. Oh no, that was 10. So yeah, there you have it, everyone. This was my first PvP battle video in a very long time. It's like I've been saying, I do want to get more into PvP. Obviously, this is a game mode that I've been neglecting for a very long time with Pokemon Go. I really did think I was going to make more PvP content last season, but I just couldn't get into it. I think at the beginning, it was with the Great League. I thought I had really good Pokemon, but I didn't. This season hasn't been that much different. I feel like my PvP teams are just not that good, but we'll see. We'll learn as we go, and yeah, keep me accountable as well. If you see me not making any PvP content, definitely make it comment in the comments of my videos saying you want more PvP content. That is, of course, if you want it. So yeah, that's something I'm asking of all of you. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding PvP down below. Do you feel like I should make more PvP content? Do you feel like PvP is a part of Pokemon Go that I should not be neglecting? Definitely mention your reasons why down below, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this long video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget the notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. And if you become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. That means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a different way, you could always do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and you'll have access to some exclusive content. And with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you all later.
진솔아와 함께해